Hello everyone, this is Phreak with an audio commentary for WCR, and first of all I'd like to say that I'm sorry for the big delay between audios for me and Cygnus and everyone else you get audios from. Cygnus has some real life obligations, so, no flaming him, that's not fair. And me, I've started school and been lazy and sort of been keeping away from Warcraft for a while. This will probably get posted after the or maybe even at the same time of the Orc vs. Night Elf, or maybe before, then I'm ruining it for you. Orc vs. Night Elf article I wrote. It doesn't have anything on the 117 heroes or the 117 changes because 117's not out yet, and there's not a lot of really huge changes. It makes bats a little bit more powerful so they can kill Chimes in 2 shots without upgrades, but other than that, there's not a lot of differences. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get this one to the 1 minute mark. I don't know if I said that yet. I don't think so. The 1 minute mark from Lucifer's point of view. With the Fog of War off, I'm actually going to be going for both perspectives since I don't play either of these races exclusively. I'm not really perfect or a super great player in either of these races I've been playing, mostly Orc recently. So I'm partially clueless on some of these matchups and some of the races, but I'm still pretty good at understanding what you're going to be aiming to do and what you should keep away from doing and what not. So we're going to go ahead and get this unpaused from the 1 minute mark. Fog of War off. Unpause in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unpause. So you can see my personal pet peeve build loader from the Undead player with a Crypt Zig Altar, which is really the lamest build loader you can ever do as Undead. Because you can go Crypt, Altar, Zig, and you get your hero faster, and you get goals at the same rate. It's fine. But apparently people love to screw stuff up and just copy their set build loaders. There's really no reason to go Crypt Zig Altar except just because you can go, BC click, go to gold, then wait for 180, which is a really easy breakpoint, as opposed to having to think a little bit, and spend a little bit more time on your build loader, but, whatever. In any event, you can see that there's not a great base build up yet for Home Sky, but you will see that actually come in place in a little bit. It'll be something that apparently Korean Undeads are not very used to because Lucifer pretty much gets owned by the base build for a while. So I guess it really doesn't matter whose view you put it on. So you can put it to either one, whatever. Get the Fog of War off, as I said. And you can see the Acolyte scouting. Now, one thing you're gonna realize as human or against human is that on Lost Temple they will always scout clockwise. They will always check to see if their expansion is next to their opponent's main. That is why the Undead player scouted clockwise, because if the human were at top, he would have seen a militia already. And since he didn't see the militia, unless Home Sky was really quick to see the blight and get out, he just knew that his opponent would not be right above him. So, that's that. And as you can see, the human's got a great position of cross-map. So if you're Undead struggling with this, here's a good way to look at it, because, worst positions possible for you. And if you're human, you're going to see how to play someone like frickin', Cherry Lucifer, who's way Gosu. So, anyway, the first thing you're going to see is that the Undead realizes that his opponent is cross-map, and it's not going to do a whole lot for him to go ahead and put the DK up there to harass, because what humans will do, what they're starting to learn now, is that they will pretty much have to camp their army at their expansion until it goes most of the way up, because it's all too easy to kill. As you can see, yes, it's being built pretty quickly, the expansion of the human, but it's not really going up that quickly. Now, he did bring his army back mostly, I would say, to kill the Acolyte, but, even then, generally they'll want to sort of sit at home, or at least make sure they're not getting harassed. And as you can see, he's got the one militia going the one way, as well as a sentry ward over there, and the farm in front of their main, so they can tell if they're getting harassed. And they're just creeping on small camp, right, very close to the base, so that if the Death Knight does come in, they can see where it comes from, because the only 2 openings, actually, I guess 3 openings, are seen by a farm, a sentry ward, or by the actual creeping army. So the human knows that, he's pretty safe. And then as he starts creeping farther into the temple, his town hall's up, so he's safe. Now, as for the Undead player, he's actually seeing that it's Lost Temple and that he's cross-map, and that he won't be able to kill the Expo. There's just no chance. He's actually going to get an Expo of his own in due time. He'd really just creep up to a critical level, such as 3. And you're going to see how he does that. And he has the Rod of Necromancy creeping, which, he got the, he got the Tomb of Relics, I would assume pretty much for the harassing aspect of the Rod of Necromancy, and then seeing that he couldn't harass well, just decided to creep with it instead. Now, right here is one of the reasons why I like to actually use coil a little more often while creeping, such as coiling a big the unit with the highest armor and stuff like that, because as you can see, he's got full mana as it is. Just use a coil, and you know, you're 100 damage farther down the road, but whatever. So he's just creeping in a decent pattern. He could probably creep one of the goblin merchants with this number of units, but, you know, staying safe, making sure he gets 3. And as you can see, he finally uses that coil. Big deal, but, you know, whatever. Takes the coil, gets level 3. And here we go, we're going to have a fight. And what they're going to be trying to do is, well, the Undead sees, oh look, a free Archmage, and Lucker gets away. But Human realizes that he doesn't have enough units. As you can see, he's got, what, like 4 footmen? Big deal. He's also got 1 scouting, which is going to see this gold mine, which is kind of sad for the Undead player, but whatever. As you can see, the gold mine's gray, which is sort of interesting, because, you know, he queued up an Acolyte to go build that, actually during Tier 2, which is an interesting concept, that you actually expand during Tier 2, so that when your Tier 2 finishes, you're actually most of the way there, so that once you start building the actual Acolytes when you're done, it's in a pretty good shape. As you can see, Lucifer's making a bit of a sacrifice to try to get rid of the Archmage, you know, waiting around for, you know, Coil to cool down and everything, and then down it goes. So that's one thing you can realize, that when you're playing as a you know, an intel hero, when you're creeping as opposed to harassing, you can get level 3 really quickly, and as you can see, you got a really quick hero kill, which is something that usually humans aren't really used to, is having, oh crap, there's level 2 coil already, what's going on? Because ghoul creeping isn't as fast as creeping with a hero, just because of the item creeping and the extra damage to the hero, tanking of the hero, and spells of the hero. So now he's gonna, you can see over the expansion, Homesky's gonna do what he can to delay the expansion. And he probably can't kill it, and he knows that, but he's gonna do what he can to, you know, have it injured so he can come back for it, or, you know, maybe Lucifer will have a brain fart and kill it, or, you know, cancel it anyway. But, you know, runs the footman away before he gets killed, knowing that the ghouls do not have frenzy yet, and he'll be okay to run away. So you can see that the Undead player is getting a Lich, and the human player is tiering. No, actually he hasn't tiered at all. I take that back. I thought he was tiering to tier 2 by now. So I'm not sure if this is exactly a super late tiering for human. I'm not really familiar with human fast expansions. It's probably around at pace, but you know, he could of course make great use of a Mountain King right about now. But I mean, I know he's not going to be able to tier as fast as Undead, and yes, he just started to tech to tier 2, but it just seemed a little slow for me. I'm not sure. In any event, you can see that since Homesky knows that there is that annoying expansion going up, he's going to do what he can to actually kill some Acolytes, because, you know, who wouldn't want to kill some Acolytes? And he puts a double off already, even though he won't be able to kill anything just yet, just because he knows that he wants to get rid of that, get rid of the footmen, slow them down so they're easy to kill. And a bit of a mistake by Lucifer letting the other ones get away instead of just coiling and chasing the rest of the army. So missing some kills there. When, you know, they're just alone and you know they're just going to run, go ahead and get rid of the first one you can, you know, with that coil, and then start chasing and, you know, finish off another one, as opposed to trying to save mana so much that you can only go after it with the ghouls. You know, it's okay just to, you know, let off a coil and rely on a mana potion later on, because, you know, killing 2 footmen pays much more, or, you know, they cost much more than just 1 mana potion. So, you know, just go for it. Just use your spells, because you never know. You know, you may not get that chance again to kill it. So it's only mana. You know, even if it's a bit of a waste. I mean, you've killed 135 gold worth of a unit. I think you'll be okay. In any event, you can see that he rallies around the fountain, getting to the human's base. The human has finally got his Archmage back, and he's going to go creep, which he is, and he's getting himself a decent item, potion of you know, healthstone thing, which is a really, really great item. It's half a ring of regeneration plus a you know, potion of greater healing. Now you could also get like healing wards here, so it can't be. It's not exactly, you know, the best item overall, but it's not bad. So he's going to pick up his army and check out this ghostly base build stuff. You know, he's blocked his Death Knight in, so picks up the army, and check this out. It's really interesting right here. You know, he's just going away killing workers, realizing that, you know, I got, you know, my critical level of 3 and whatnot. You know, I'm in good shape. Let's just go and you know, hit some workers while I start really making sure my expansion goes up, and amassing enough lumber so that I'm sure to What am I saying? Holy crap. Yeah, I'm doing this again. Old habits die hard. He's making sure that he has enough wood that he can pull all the ghouls off of wood for now. And, or pull off the ghouls off of wood when he needs it, and just continue to fight with them without having to worry about amassing up more wood later on, making sure that he doesn't have to, go back and forth, say, oh, I can't creep now, I need to get wood, That's one of the tough things, I guess, about Undead if you're going ghouls, is to balance the lumber intake with using your ghouls for more important tasks such as creeping, because you always need the upgrades, the tiering, the other heroes, the buildings and whatnot, and it's good to make sure that you don't have to worry about that so much, and that you can just use them to creep and do all that. So since he's just going into the hero harassment phase, it's okay just to amass up 1,000 plus wood, and then just live off that for a while. So you can see that he got the Gargs. He's got 2 Gargs. Actually, he's got 3 now, but he's getting them so that he can, essentially, so that he can get rid of that Zeppelin of his opponent, make sure that he can't save his heroes, and get it away. Because if he only has 1 Garg, it's still possible to bolt and just kill with water missiles and rifles, and your Garg is a waste of gold, and your opponent's still in good shape. So what you're going to see here is he's going to bring his own Zeppelin to be able to save his heroes, as well as having Gargs to kill that annoying Zeppelin that his opponent had. And, they're just fun, annoying air units, making sure that he continues to mass rifles. As you can see, here comes the TP. Let's pick up our heroes. Oh, wait, you're a tard. And, gets his Death Knight bolted. And now he's going to lose his Zeppelin, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Picks up the DK. Oh, look, down it goes. Good job, buddy. So he's going to lose his heroes, because he apparently wasn't aware of the fact that rifles own you. But loses the hero again, starts leveling up, gets close to 4. He's going to send these Gargs over to try to kill the expansion, sees the towers, and decides never mind. Really, right now, the mindsets for the players is the Undead needs to get his tier 3 for his Crypt Lord, his A-bombs, and everything. The human needs to make sure that he can really consolidate his advantage. He does have a bit of a better hero advantage. 4-1 versus... Sorry, actually 3-1 versus... Where'd that mountain go? Oh, there we go. Versus 4-2. So he does have the hero advantage, the human does. He does not yet have a unit advantage. I mean, he's only gotten tier 2 recently. Only has, 8 rifles or so, which... are pretty good against ghouls overall, but, it's not a huge amount of damage, so, it's good to be careful about it. And for some reason, those no wardens are very hyperactive and go after those footmen. Not sure why, but now they run away, so pretty smart gnolls over there, I must say. But, whatever. Cherry's gonna try to, or Lucifer's gonna try to capitalize on that, but sees, what? He's creeping with his Mount King, I'll get bolted and killed, so let's not do that. In any event, you can see that there's a bit of a split harassment going on by Homesky, realizing that, I can go creep with this army and go hit his expo with this one. And maybe it's just a pathing bug where he just got, part of his army got owned by creeps, but you can just always think that it was the better of the two, and he decided to split and harass and then meet up with his army. Who knows? In any event, one of the reasons why the Cold Tower is such a good tower is because it enables you to get a bunch of ghoul surrounds. And that's really important when you're facing something like Riflemen, because they can otherwise get away pretty easily, and they're healable, and you start running around, and the clap's going to own you. So by being able to surround the units better, not having to chase so much, you're really in a really good shape, because Piercers, they don't have to worry about chasing, they just sit there and focus fire, which is, a really big advantage. So right now what Homesky was doing is essentially seeing that my opponent just lost both his heroes. Let's go kill his expansion. Oh wait, there's 3 towers in expansion? Okay, let's kill the main, because there's no towers there. I mean, yes, there are some towers, but they're not really in reach. And so, sort of wasted gold there. So Homesky, gets himself a kill. And is, waiting around for, ghouls to get to an easy position to kill and whatnot, just sort of biding his time, killing production buildings, not getting into the base, which is very important. If you get stuck in the catacombs of an undead base, you're pretty much screwed. So you can see that there's a very easy ghoul kill right there, which he passes up because he's smart, but just bolts it, kills it, whatever. That's sort of using the mana instead of worrying about focus fire. Just T-click, it kills it, whatever. I have brilliance, It's okay to just use your spell, even if you could have saved some mana. They might have saved it otherwise. So just do it. You never know when it's actually gonna give you the kill when it wouldn't otherwise. So You know, Tier Lucifer still realizes that he doesn't have enough of an army to fight. He wants to wait for at least one A-bomb to come out for some form of tanking. Because, see, A-bombs are nice big units that people love to focus, at least, you know, lower level players like myself. Because, you know, it's an A-bomb that costs 240 gold. Let's just get rid of it and kill it. Thing is, it's, you know, 3 times as durable as a ghoul. Kill the ghouls, you know, and you're in better shape. But it's just such a big draw, just, you know, psychologically. Ooh, it's a big unit. Let's go kill it. I have a bunch of rifles. Let's kill the Tier 3 melee unit. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But it's not even as big of a threat as a ghoul. So, I mean, yes, it does more damage per second, but it's 3 times as durable and doesn't deal 3 times the damage. So, finally the human realizes that the Undead's in a very good spot overall, that he can get a lot of kills, and so TP's out before he gets owned. As you can see, he only lost a very few units after actually killing a whole lot of ghouls, and that's, you know, one of the advantages of the riflemen, as you can see that, you know, they kill so many units before they actually get injured. And overall, you know, the Undead player only killed, I think, one unit that wasn't killed by towers. Because, you know, the DK just leveled up once during that fight. You know, just barely got level 4 since he was really close before. You know, you know, that obviously wasn't a big EXP gain in that fight, so you can see that it wasn't many kills. You know, so overall, the human player just, you know, knocked out a bunch of production buildings and got a whole lot of ghoul kills, and then TP'd out before he lost any large portion of his army. So, you know, you don't have to TP just, you know, when you're like, oh crap, my army's dead, I better get out so I don't lose my heroes. TP out before you actually get into a losing position. That way you won't have to worry about that so much. And, so that's all good. In any event, the guards are interesting in that they force some guard towers at home for the human, which really you should get anyway as human. Like, just every game, you get at least one guard tower, because that's going to stop, or at least really help against the forest walking ghoul harassment. Now I know that's getting fixed in 117, but you know, for the remainder of 116, that forest walking ghoul harassment has been something that's troubled me a lot as human, and that's won me some games a lot as Undead in the few that I've played. And that, you know, you can't really do anything except, you know, run home and stop creeping, while the remainder of the Undead army is still creeping, leveling up. And so, you know, that's something that can really hurt if you don't have towers, if you're not ready for it. Is that you can continue to, you know, lose time and lose gold while your opponent isn't. In any event, the Undead's going to power creep as much as he can to get critical levels of 3 on his secondary and tertiary hero, and maybe even luckily get 5 on his DK, which isn't happening yet, but, you know, can later on. So as you can see, the ghouls tanking, die very quickly. Needs an A-bomb in front, needs to coil him. Does that. And, so the human is realized that, you know, he had pretty much won the fight despite TPing. He killed a lot more ghouls than he lost footmen. And so, you know, I could pick another fight, it's cool. You know, and goes for that. And heals up, then goes again, and sees what he can do, and then unfortunately sees that his Undead opponent has got a lot more ghouls than he was used to, and also had that very, very powerful Crypt Lord. So he's like, okay, never mind, I'm not going to try that. Then you can see the ghostiness of pathing, going through creeps, always useful, fun, and all that. So, you know, what they're trying to do now is the human's just, you know, creeping what he can, trying to get himself to level 5 in the Archmage. And as you can see, he did, which is a very, very important level, because level 3 water metals are even harder to kill with destroyers, which he hasn't seen yet, but he knows he will see them. And they do so much damage, you know, they do a lot more than a rifleman does. And it's just the damage potential on them is so huge that, you know, getting them is very important. And also getting your Mount King to a critical level is very important as well, specifically 3. Now, one of the interesting things in the talk about critical levels is that there are some heroes that don't have as much critical levels as others. For instance, the Lich, you know, very dependent on critical levels 1, 3, and 5, because those are really when it actually increases in power. You know, the difference between level 1 and level 2 ritual, level 2 and level 3 ritual, doesn't matter nearly as much as the difference between levels of Nova. Those matter a ton more than ritual, because you can carry mana potions. You can't, you know, increase the damage of ritual, or increase the damage of of Nova, not without leveling up. Now, as for the Death Knight, you know, it's a little bit more rounded out, because Unholy Aura is a very useful skill. You know, every level it levels up is a big deal. As you can see, he's still got those Gargs to kill those Zeppelins. kill that Zeppelin. Unfortunately, for some reason not doing it, but, you know, whatever. As you can see, though, that the hero spells are very strong. They're ripping right through the Rifleman, pretty much just getting his ghouls into position, slowing them down and stunning them so that his ghouls can actually get in there and start dealing immense amounts of damage. As you can see, all the Riflemen have 2/2 upgrades. The ghouls do as well, which allows him to actually do really considerably high damage. And after this audio, or maybe just towards the end of the audio, I'm going to check out the damage per second versus effective hit points and see how the numbers work out to see if that advantage actually just turns into a ghoul advantage or not. And we'll find out. I actually have a Excel sheet of stuff. Yo. So, yes, that was my mom. She's Gosu. So as you can see, he's got his critical levels on his Lich and Crypt Lord, which is a lot of reason why the human had to go away. If it was only level 1 Impale, level 1 Nova, it wouldn't have been nearly as big of a deal. But because of the fact that he got, you know, an extra, you know, he essentially doubled the AoE damage of both those spells, added another second of stun, it's a really, really big deal. And, you know, having that, just, you know, as you can see, turned the battle around, because, you know, last time they fought, he didn't even have the Crypt Lord, and, you know, he lost miserably. And then the second time he had a level 1 Crypt Lord, or maybe level 2, and he ran away. This time he's got a level 3 Crypt Lord and a level 3 Lich, and the human lost that fight. As you can see, you know, the hero levels really mean a lot. As you can see also, he's got this Gosu Hidden Griffin Aviary of GG. There's 2 of them over there. As for actually possessing an air army, not happening. Check his food, 76 of 84, he could build one. Unfortunately, he's a noob. Now, he's got this random scout tower out there in the bottom of the map, which is really weird. But what it essentially will do is it towers up an expansion for him, and it also makes sure that he can't, you know, send Gargs around the map as easily. He can see when they're coming, because generally, you know, that's where people will send air around the map, is around the sides, just to minimize the chance of them getting rally jacked. Because if they're rally jacked, it's just a bolt or a slow, and they're pretty much killed. And so by you know, sending them around the sides, that lessens that chance, and human builds up towers to actually decrease the chance of him actually going around the sides. Anyway, as you can see, the Paladin is out, which is a very big deal, but you also notice that he's gotten it very late. You know, he's 5-3-1, as the Undead is, you know, 4-3-3. And despite the fact that he doesn't have level 3 Coil, having 2 level 2 spells on his second and third hero is very, very important. And as you can see, since the Paladin is still only level 1, he's a very easy chain nuke. And that's given his Death Knight level 5 from the kills. And now he's got those great healing wards, plus statues, and plus coil, plus unholy aura for insane HP regen. Now he doesn't have destroyers yet, which is sort of interesting. Now that he's seen Inner Fight, he really should go for Destros. So, you know, still getting them is very important, because Inner Fire is a big deal. I mean, sure, the damage potential addition isn't huge, and the army may not be completely game-breaking, but it is a big deal. And besides that, you know, it's destroyer food. I mean, those guys deal tons of damage anyway. You know, whether it's the 116 or the 115 or the 117 version, it's still a lot of damage dealt by those units. And, you know, with that orb in there, they really deal a lot of AoE damage. Though they don't have damage type bonus against Riflemen by any means, it's still a high amount of damage. So, you're going to see he's about to get level 4 on his Lich. It really doesn't matter overall, but, you know, just for what it's worth. Paladin's back already. You see level 1 heroes revive very, very quickly. You should know, but, you know, whatever. And level 4 Lich, big deal, whatever. But you can see that the chain nuking of the Archmage, as, you know, pushing Holy Light, heals it all completely. But, you know, then the MK gets a cool level. Paladin's just an easy kill, as you can see before. You know, it's just Coil Nova with some Ghoul Vogues fire out, down he goes. You know, you can see Gosu Clap going off, and just, you know, one of the main things about late game Undead is that they can just chain nuke so well. Is, you know, they have AoE spells, and it transitions perfectly into actual nukes. You know, you can use Impale as a nuke, just because it actually has that AoE benefit anyway. You know, just in the same fact that you technically can use Shockwave as a nuke. That's not its main goal, but, you know, it still does its AoE damage, so might as well. It's, you know, obviously it's not as powerful nuke as Coil and Nova, but it's still pretty good. And, you know, same thing goes for Nova, where, you know, you use it as a nuke and it still does extra damage, which makes it such a strong spell, you know, in addition to Impale. That's why people get the Crypt Lord over the Dreadlord, is because, you know, the Crypt Lord's not capped, and though the Dreadlord can hit air, and, you know, has Vamp Aura, and I think does more damage overall, I think. You know, and it has more mana overall, I think. Just the fact that it stuns, and you will deal damage to the target as long as it doesn't outrun the impale. In the case of the Dreadlord, if you target the Archmage in the back of the army, the footmen are essentially going to tank for it, and it won't take the Carrion Swarm damage. And so, what you have to realize is Undead is your main focus is really leveling up your heroes and making sure you keep your units alive, because if you let him outlevel you a lot, you will lose, because eventually that Male King is going to turn into an absolute beast. And so the Undead really avoided conflict as much as possible. As you can see, he set in his base a while till he at least got one A-bomb, and though he lost more units in the battle, at least he forced a TP. The battle in itself went in the favor of the human player, but getting the guy off his back was very important for the Undead player. Just getting him away so that he could creep again. And as you can see, once he got that Crippler out, he just power crept, orange and just the biggest orange spots he could find. And once he got 3 and 3 on his second and third heroes, that changed the battle around. And really, those AoE spells are very, very powerful, because the slowing, people just think about the damage, say, oh, that's cool, it deals X amount of AoE damage. And they say, well, it's not that strong, rifles have 505 hit points. But one of the main things that, there's the slowing aspect, which will reduce a lot of their damage potential. And the same with Impale, it not only does it immobilize them, it keeps them from attacking. And so when you actually impale the rifle line, it gives you a free chance to move all your ghouls right next to them, so that when they actually land, then they're stunned for the 2 seconds, and then when they're unstunned, they're surrounded, so it really doesn't matter, because they're going to die really quickly because of the damage type. And so now I'm going to open up the spreadsheet and find out just how much I own. Now this audio may cut off prematurely, just because I'm a noob and the program's really weird, but let's find out. So, opening it, requesting virus scan. I got the hourglass going off, because that's Gosu. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to read off some quick statistics for you. So, Undead, the Ghoul, completely unupgraded, deals 10 damage per second. Fully upgraded, this is 3/3, and with Frenzy, it deals 16 and 2/3 damage per second. Now, as for the Rifleman, he deals 14 without upgrades and 19 damage per second with full upgrades. And then, so you can see that the Undead essentially adds 2/3 to his damage potential overall by getting all the upgrades. Adds a 6.6 repeating from 10, whereas the rifle, just gains about a third, which is not bad, but obviously not as much as ghouls gain. As for their effective hit points, Rifleman goes from 505 to 686.8. Now again, ghouls do extra damage, so you pretty much multiply their effective hit points by, I think, 2/3. So it's more along the lines of, say, 300 hit points, 340 damage needs to be dealt by a ghoul. So actually, a one-on-one fight between the two, a Rifleman will win. For now, this will be Phreak signing out. Hope you guys have fun with all this, and au revoir, etc. And yeah,